Hi, this is Lane8492. This is the first of two true crime story videos I'm doing today. The first one is on serial killer Gary Ray Bowles. Of course, Gary Ray Bowles, who had confessed to 6 murders in Maryland, Georgia, and Florida. Most of them were along the I-95 road, which got him called the I-95 killer. But he would confess to the murders of 6 men, and from what I read, most of them were gay, and he blamed them for the abortion by his girlfriend of his only child at the time. See, Gary Ray Bowles was born on January 25th, 1962 in Clifton Forge, Virginia, but was raised in Rupert, West Virginia. And apparently his father, Frank Bowles, died before he was born from black lung disease, being that his father was a coal miner. His mother was married to his stepfather, who was abusive to her and to his 2 sons, and she did nothing to stop the abuse. And apparently, one day, Gary Ray Bowles reached his breaking point to where he took a brick and nearly beat his abusive stepfather to death, and his mother begged him to stop. And that's when Gary Ray Bowles, according to the show I watched on him called The Killer Speaks, was Gary Ray Bowles gave his mother an ultimatum. It's either him or me. And unfortunately, his mother chose his stepfather, and that's when Gary Ray Bowles just ran away from home, never to come back. And of course, Gary Ray Bowles was homeless and was turning tricks to survive. Even though he wasn't gay, he was straight. And apparently, he would get arrested for beating and sexually assaulting his girlfriend that got him 6 years in prison. And he would commit other crimes. Now, his known killing spree would start. Gary Ray Bowles' known killing spree would start on March 15th, 1994 in Daytona Beach, Florida. The victim there he would end up first unaliving would be 59-year-old John Hardy Roberts, who offered him a temporary place to live. Apparently, Gary Ray Bowles beat and strangled him to death and then stole his credit card, which he would use in Kingsland, Georgia, and the last known area would be of Nashville, Tennessee. And of course, over the next 6 months, Gary Ray Bowles would commit other murders of 39-year-old David Jarman in Wheaton, Maryland. Let's see, 72-year-old Milton Joseph Bradley in Savannah, Georgia. 47-year-old Alverson Carter Jr. in Atlanta, Georgia. 37-year-old Albert Morris in Hilliard, Florida. And then the final of that would be Walter Jamel Hinton, who went by Jay. And apparently, Gary Ray Bowles, from one of the crimes he committed, he was able to obtain a social security card that belonged to someone else, a Timothy Ronald Whitfield. So Gary Ray Bowles would use the alias Timothy Ronald Whitfield, which allowed him to evade capture. Gary Ray Bowles, a known serial killer, was even put on America's Most Wanted and was amongst the FBI's 10 most wanted. And apparently from one of the crime scenes, the identity Timothy Ronald Whitfield was found there. So they ended up looking for Timothy Ronald Whitfield in Jacksonville, Florida, which was where Gary Ray Bowles murdered Walter Jamel Hinton. When they brought in Timothy Ronald Whitfield, and when the detectives suspected that Timothy Ronald Whitfield was lying, Gary Ray Bowles says, "Do you want to know the truth? I'll tell you who I am." He says he's really Gary Ray Bowles, and said he was glad that the ordeal was finally over. Of course, Gary Ray Bowles claimed that the people he killed were sickos, but the police found nothing to back up Gary Ray Bowles' claim. As a Christian, I'm not for LGBTQ lifestyle, but I'll say this: what Gary Ray Bowles did is unacceptable. He had no reason to do what he did. Gary Ray Bowles got the appropriate sentence. He pled guilty to the murder of Walter Jamel Hinton and was sentenced to death, and would spend many years on death row until in 2019 all of his appeals were officially exhausted. And his execution was set for August 22nd, 2019. And for his last meal, Gary Ray Bowles ate 3 cheeseburgers, French fries, and bacon. And on August 22nd, 2019, Gary Ray Bowles was executed by lethal injection at the Florida State Prison in Stark, Florida. And I remember seeing this story on Crime and Investigations, The Killer Speaks. Well, hope you enjoy this video and let me know what you think. Thanks.